What's up, everybody? My name is Darrell, also known as Coach D, and I'm bringing you the new assist for today. The assist for today is why reinvention in 2026 looks different and why you have to change as the years change. See, a lot has changed in the last few years. The work that you're doing, the money that you have, the relationships that you're in, and even what success looks like. See, the old way of things used to look like you stay in your lane or you stay at the same job since your early 20s. You climb the ladder, you don't question the ladder, you don't question the executives, but you grind your way through misalignment and you call it discipline. But the 2026 reality is careers and identities are more fluid and flexible. Stability comes from skills, systems, and self-awareness, not just one employer. But mental health, and I repeat, mental health, energy, and alignment are no longer nice to have, they're must-haves. That's why you cannot treat your next chapter like a quick New Year's resolution as we always do. You need a simple, clear, repeatable process you can come back to whenever life tells you, this isn't it anymore. That's exactly what the reinvention checklist that I designed is there to do. You'll use this video as the why, and you'll use the checklist as the how. Let's dig deeper. Step one is get honest with where you are now. Reinvention doesn't always start with a vision board. It starts with naming the truth of your current life. Here are a few things from the checklist. Can you clearly name what feels off in your life? Have you written down what feels dull, what feels draining, what misaligns with your current life? Have you asked yourself the question, if I stay in the same exact path in the next 3 years, am I okay with that? Am I okay with the outcome? See, this is the part most people rush through. We rush through, we try to answer it, and we get it done. But you feel something is wrong, but you never want to define it. So this is why reinvention gets foggy from the starting point, because you don't want to assign it. You don't want to define it. You don't want to put a name on it so that you can conquer it. As you read along the checklist and as you listen to this video, I want you to pause and download the checklist. I'll have it in the description below. We actually want to go through the first few boxes, seeing where the check marks tend to come or where the answers tend to come. It will prove two things. It will prove that your brain that I've started this exercise and I want to get the most out of it. 2, it gives you a real snapshot of your baseline, of your foundation, not just the version that you find online. Step 2, define what better actually means for you. You can't reinvent around a vague wishes to do more, have more balance, have a better job, have work-life balance, be able to spend time with friends and family. Your brain needs a clear direction. It needs clear coordinates, right? We're in the GPS, let's get to the coordinates. But from the checklist in which I built, I define what better looks like, or I give an example of what better looks like and how you can define it in one sentence in each area of your life, whether it's your career, whether it's money, whether it's health, relationships, etc. I've also chosen one primary reinvention focus for the next 90 days, not 10. As I'm reading the 12-week year, which is right here on my desk, 12-week year, right? As I'm reading that, it's about shortening the amount of time that you're putting into what you're trying to correct or what you're trying to reinvent. And if you don't shorten that time, we tend to put it off, and it doesn't get done. I'm reminded that my AI told me today that I have a good baseline for ideas, but my execution is what struggles. That was hard. And part of the reason why it's hard is because I do realize that I constantly will come up with these ideas, will come up with these plans or these projects or these books or these ebooks or these presentations, and I don't do anything with it because at the end of the day, I don't have an execution at the end. And the reason why I'm doing it different this year, especially with a 12-week year, is I've set deadlines for 90 days from the beginning of when I start a project to have it completed and push it out to the marketplace so that people can make the decision. They can decide whether or not they want to do business with me or they want to work with me or they want to be a part of the community. And so by the end of 2026, I want to be the kind of person that puts out more things and executes more as opposed to just creating. Creating's great, but I have this large library of things that I just haven't done anything with. And so this year, I'm going to start giving away a lot of the free stuff, a lot of the stuff in which I built over the years, and giving it away for free because the reality is if I don't, it's just going to sit there. It's going to collect dust, or the virtual dust, as I like to call it. All right. So again, this isn't about creating the perfect 5-year plan, right? I'm looking at this and I'm shortening the window. I'm looking at 90 days, but it's really about setting a direction that feels true to you. And that's something that you can hold yourself to and you can hold yourself accountable. And if you do have a accountability partner, have them hold you accountable to the things in which you say that you want to do. And some of the examples could be, by the end of 2026, I want to be the kind of person that does work that energizes me and instead of empties me. I remember working at a job before, and oftentimes I dreaded going to work. It was the hardest thing for me. But the reality is, as I continue to search and seek out those things, and really speaking on microphones, this is when I really got into working with a podcast or a radio show or gospel radio show, whatever you want to call it. And I started finding the love. It really energized me. It really gave me passion to continue to do it and do it more. And so find something that energizes you and doesn't empty you. Or you could say, by the end of 2026, I want to be the kind of person that trusts myself more with money and with opportunity, right? As money and opportunity comes, oftentimes we stray away from it because it's uncomfortable. We're getting into a tax bracket, or we're getting into into more responsibility with our income. And sometimes that can be scary, especially if we don't have a grasp on the current income in which we have, right? And so find an area or find a way to be able to trust yourself. And again, these are just statements that you're really putting an example out there for your brain so that you can have the better life in which you want. But you have to be clear on where you're going, okay? Another example before we move on is, by the end of 2026, I want to be the kind of person who honors their body and time like the non-renewable resources. And really all that means is, am I focusing on eating better, or better habits that are going to help me be more in shape, be healthier? Am I going to be judicious with my time and not give everybody the yes when I know I really need to say no? And if you don't do that, or if you don't clearly define that, you'll continue to say yes. You'll continue to be the people pleaser that you often were. And I've come from that. I've come from the people pleasing and constantly saying yes. Well, one thing that I learned, and I had to learn, is in order for me to get comfortable with saying no, I have to distance myself. And it's not that I want to distance myself all the time. It's that I need to distance myself when I am deeply rooted in doing the things that are important to me. Okay. So if you struggle with putting into words, you have AI, have a discussion with a friend, ask the question, or have them ask you the question, so that it feels like a natural conversation, that you can really truly get these things out of your brain instead of saying, I don't know, or I don't know how. You really truly have the answer. You just have to ask the right question. All right, step 3, upgrade your identity, not just your to-do list. Oftentimes when we think about reinvention, it's about what we have to do. Let's check these things off. Let's continue to check these things off. But it's more about who you're becoming. And I'm reminded as I watched and I continue to watch Myron Golden, he talks about be, do, have, right? And so who you are becoming will start to clear a path or create a path for you to do and to have the things in which you want if you become the person that you say you want to become. And in that checklist, it really walks you through this. Whether you have the old identity that you're outgrowing, whether you are the people pleaser, the overwhelmed employee, the burned out top performer, or the manager who just can't get it right. As you name the new identity, you have to step into it. I've named the new identity. I'm a speaker. I'm stepping into it. I speak on this mic. I speak to you all on this podcast, but I also speak to you all knowing that this is the identity in which I have. And I've written down the sentence that I'm a speaker, I'm an author, and I am enjoyed by many. And every day I'm reminding myself that that is my mission. That's who I am becoming. That's who I am. And why this matters, if you keep calling yourself disorganized, untrustworthy, not good with money, you often are proving yourself right that you are those things. But if you find it that you are calling yourself the kind of person who follows through, the kind of person who really pushes themselves to the next challenge, or pushes through the next challenge or the obstacle, that stays consistent, that is consistent with the identity in which you have built, you'll start to believe it and you'll start to achieve it. there's really space for you to reinvent yourself quite often in your life. I look at it from a yearly standpoint, an annual standpoint. Some will say every 2 to 5 years. Some will say, hey, I have the ability to reinvent areas within my life, whether it's the career, relationships, personal, financially, you name it. There's areas in which you can reinvent, but there are so many other steps that you can take that are on this checklist. I want you all to be able to check that out. As we wrap up here today, I want to talk you all through your next move. If any part of what I mentioned or any area that I might have mentioned before moves you, not just a nod, but moves you and says, hey, you know what? That makes sense. I need to do something. Click the link below, grab the 2026 Reinvention Checklist, take 20 to 30 minutes of quiet time. And when I say quiet time, no music, no TV, nothing in the background, nothing distracting you, to fill out as much as you honestly can. And then 3, pick one box that you can check today, not next month, not next week, today. You don't have to burn your life down. You don't have to change anything dramatically or drastically to reinvent it. You just have to stop outsourcing your future to someday and start building with a simple, repeatable steps. And if you fall off, good. That means you're human. I do it all the time. I haven't recorded in the last 4 days. I beat myself up about it, but the reality is I knew that I was going to come back to this because there were things that are tied to my reinvention that I have to do. Pick up the checklist. Let's recalibrate together and keep becoming the person that you want to become in 2026 that you can be proud of and proud to recognize as you get closer to the end of this year. Thank you. My name is Real, also known as Coach D. I hope something that I stated today blesses you and keeps you on your path towards reinvention. Thank you.